Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to today's St. Clair's webinar. Let's just allow a few minutes. There's still people trickling in. But while you're waiting, I'll just introduce myself in case you haven't met me before. My name is Simon Talbot. I'm the Director of Summer and Short Courses here at St. Clair's. And I'm joined by Simon Halford Thompson, who is the Director of Studies for Summer Schools and Short Courses. So we have quite a few people still trickling in, so we'll get started in just a moment. But the focus of today's session is to sort of remind you guys of all things summer at St. Clair's and introduce you to some new exciting developments that we've introduced this year. Including a brand new centre in Surrey and a few, new courses and initiatives. So yeah, we're really keen to explain what we've been up to, in the lead up to, summer 2026. So yeah, I mean, we are almost, I think, yeah, I think we're almost there with the participants. So I think we'll get started. So yeah. So Simon and I, we share an office. We're two of the summer team. It does get confusing having two Simons, but yeah. So I'm the director of summer schools, and Simon Halford Thompson is the director of studies. So next slide, please. So yes, so some of you may be new to St. Clair's. Some of you may have been working with us for many years. But to introduce you to St. Clair's, we are an international college located in North Oxford. We were established in 1953, so we recently celebrated our 70th anniversary. We have three sort of parts of St. Clair's. One is the International Baccalaureate Boarding School. We are the oldest IB school in England. We have the International College, which offers foundation programs, English language courses throughout the academic year for students 16 years and above. They offer an undergraduate program and also English plus academic subjects. And then the third part of St. Clair's is us. So when the IB school finishes for the summer and the International College finishes for the summer, we take over the classrooms, accommodation, the facilities, and we run a range of summer schools. Next slide, please. So the biggest part of our summer school, I think, is our teenager program based in Oxford. This is quite an old image of our campus, but not much has changed hugely, to be honest. So yeah, we're spread across North Oxford, which is where we run our teenager program. We run a junior program for 9 to 15-year-olds at Headington Rye School, which is just 10 minutes down the road. And then we run a program for adults at our international college. Next slide, please. The age groups we stick to quite strictly. So our junior program 9 to 15 suits the campus that we have at Headington Rye, where it's an enclosed campus. It has a perimeter fence, and it's great for the younger students, for their safety and welfare. For the teenagers 15 to 17 in Oxford, because we're on a sort of fairly open campus, we need the students to be a little bit more older, a little bit more mature. We give the students quite a lot of freedom and independence to make their own sort of choices about how to spend their free time. And then we have our adult program at the International College, still in North Oxford, where there's accommodation and classes available at the International College. Next slide, please. So yeah, for many of you, you will know St. Clair's really well. So we won't go over too much of the sort of detail of our sort of regular courses. But what we'd like to do today, Simon and I, is to introduce you to our four to our new centre at Merris Wood, a new course on our junior programme, and talk a little bit about our adult courses again, and to spend a bit of time talking about the short courses that we offer. So we don't just run summer schools, we also are able to offer short courses during the academic year. Okay, so next slide. So Merris Wood is as the picture shows, is set on 400 acres of green space. During the year, it's a further education college, which teaches lots of subjects, land-based subjects, things like agriculture, horticulture, There's an equestrian centre there. They teach things like tree surgery,
Animal management.
animal management. They have a zoo there as well, a licensed zoo. It's not open to the public, but it's for the students to learn about aspects of conservation and animal health. Um, as we said, yeah, 400 acres of sort of rural campus with ancient woodland, lots of space to roam, playing fields. Um, the difference, I think, we'll come on to the differences between Merriswood and our sort of Oxford campus. I think the key difference is it's quite a bit smaller, so it gives us a sort of close-knit family feel, and it's located just outside Guildford. So Guildford, if you're not aware, is southwest London, and it's quite close to Heathrow and Gatwick airports. And it's well located for excursions into London and the sort of southeast of the UK. But the campus itself is located. It's about a 15-20 minute bus ride into Guildford City Centre, town centre. It's quite a historical town. It's got lots of it's got a couple of high streets. It's got a cathedral. So although students will, on the campus will feel like they're sort of, in the countryside in a rural location, they are just on the doorstep of quite a busy and lively town as well.
It's quite a famous cathedral, I think you were telling us, weren't you, Simon? It's been used in some
Yes, it was
movies.
where the horror film The Omen was filmed at Guildford Cathedral. It's also where I had my graduation ceremony. All right, next.
We're also offering free transfers from the airports, aren't we? I think, Simon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so in on our Oxford Teenager program, because we give the students a lot of sort of autonomy, a lot of students in Oxford either make their own way to the campus, or they're brought by their parents, or they come as part of a group. We don't include airport transfers in the program fee, whereas for our Merriswood Centre, because of the proximity and also because it's not sort of in a city, we are offering free transfers included in the program fee from Heathrow and Gatwick. Other locations we can provide a quote for an airport transfer, but students arriving into Heathrow and Gatwick will have that included in the program fee. So what we try to achieve with Merriswood is something different, something, a lot of people know St. Clair's for its, city campus, quite open near the city centre of Oxford. What we looked for was something slightly different. So what Merriswood is great for is students who are passionate about the outdoors, conservation, sustainability, nature. It's an alternative to the sort of hustle bustle of city life. If you're from, a big city, or if you just like the outdoors, Merriswood could be a great option for you. It's also quite, I think, a good option for clients that you might have that might feel a bit overwhelmed by how busy the 320 student program is, in Oxford. So with a cap at 85 students, it's much more, like we've said, sort of close knit, and it will feel like a big family with lots of opportunities to socialize with each other.
It really fulfills a lot of that British idyll of the countryside and the farm life, doesn't it? Where students can really get out there in nature and have a bath in the greenness and nature, really.
Absolutely. And we'll come on to the courses in a moment, but it might also suit students with particular interests, artists, or people interested or passionate about sustainability, or those that are interested in sort of developing their leadership skills. Next slide, Simon. So going over a lot of what we've just sort of mentioned. Oxford is city-based, whereas Merriswood is quite rural. Oxford is high energy, lively, 320 students. It's busy. A lot of students love that energy, but then we also, know that there are, some students that would appreciate something a bit more familiar, something a bit sort of, I'm not going to say quiet, because I can't imagine 85 teenagers will ever be quiet in a summer school. But certainly, if they need perhaps a bit more support, maybe it's their first time traveling away from home, even as a teenager, they might need the sort of comfort blanket, I suppose, of being in a slightly smaller centre. In Oxford, we've already mentioned, we give the students a lot of freedom, and the activity program and the excursion program, they have lots of choices. They can choose to participate or not. Whereas at Merris Wood, because of its size and because of its location, all students will be expected to participate in the activities and excursions. But what that means is that all activities and excursions are included in the program fee. So on the teenager program, where you might have excursion options on Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday afternoon, at Merris Wood, we're offering all of those excursions, again, included in the program fee. So even if a student was a bit concerned that, they're going to feel a bit sort of away from the city, away from that, the sort of hustle bustle of being in a city, they do have access to Guildford, and there will be lots of sort of going off campus, going on excursions. And then in terms of accommodation, which I know is a really important part of any summer school experience, at St Clair's teenager campus in Oxford, they're in our boarding houses, mostly single, twin, and some triple rooms. Whereas at Merris Wood, all of the rooms are single rooms, and they're sort of set into university style flats. So it's a great sort of experience, I suppose, of living on a university campus. So so it's sort of 4 or 5 rooms to a flat. I think there are some flats that have sort of about 6 beds in it, and they share bathroom and facilities, and they share a kitchenette and a small social space in each of the flats. And then what we want to explain here is that in terms of the sort of academic standards and the academic delivery, actually there's not going to be a huge amount of difference between the ethos of our sort of teaching and learning at Oxford and our teaching and learning at Merith. I don't know, Simon, if you want to sort of pick up on that a bit.
I mean, I'm going to go into it with the courses, but as you're saying, what we're trying to do is keep the core elements of St Clair's the same as they are here in Oxford, but also provide that slight bit of difference. And we'll come on to that with the themes and the courses that we're going to offer that. But yeah, we want student-centered heads-up learning where we're speaking to those young people who are coming and encouraging them to use English and putting them in situations which make sure that they use that English with a really international setting. So yeah, we'll speak about that a bit more later.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, and just to kind of drill into sort of life on the campus, I suppose. They have the privacy of, all students will have the privacy of a single room. Each room has a wash basin but they're, as we said, they're located in flats. On the campus, there is a central social space. So we are the only residential school at Merris Wood. That's sometimes a question that comes up. We're going to be the only summer school running there, so we have pretty exclusive access to most of these spaces. But there's a large central social space called Woodies, which I think is a nod to the woods. And the central Woodies is basically an enormous common room with table tennis tables, pool
Table.
All sorts of different things going on with doors that open up onto a nice lawn outside. So our vision is that a lot of the social activities will take place there, and if students prefer not to get involved in an activity, then they can sort of meet at Woodies to kind of hang out, I suppose. But the idea really is that at lunch times, at break times and things, students will all go to Woodies and spend their time together, mixing in with students from other nationalities and other courses.
It's right next to the canteen, isn't it, Simon?
That's it. Yeah, it's all in the same complex. So that's where they'll also have their breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well, all on the campus. Yeah, great. So here's a few images. So yeah, it's very green, very open. I mean, there are some of the classrooms there are rather large because of the style of teaching. On our immersive English course, maximum class size is 15, and then on our leadership and sustainability course, maximum class size is 12. You might say, leadership and sustainability course, what's that? Well, we'll explain that in just a minute. We also have, we've got some pictures here of the accommodation and the social spaces and the flats. And then I don't know, Simon, if you want to explain what the top right picture is. It might sort of
So I
Yeah.
believe that's the arid biome. So they have sort of three areas within. It's how they teach the animal conservation, and we're going to come on and speak about this a bit more. But what you can see is the arid biome there. So you got tortoises down here, and you have to wash your hands and be very hygienic. It's all very up to date in there. They have lots of animals like geckos and lizards around the edge here, and they also have a tropical biome and then a nocturnal biome for animals that only come out at night, where they keep the lights off.
Is
Um,
this the Simon? Is this the biome where the birds are flying around over
I
your
think
head?
that's the tropical one. So
That's the
this is
tropical one.
this is
Okay.
the arid, the dry
Yeah.
one, which was meant to be like a desert, and then the in the tropical one, which is just
Ah, of
down the
course. Okay.
corridor, they have the birds flying around. Yeah.
All right. Great.
And yeah, those classrooms are going to be absolutely fantastic, as you were saying. It's so much space, and what we really like to do is get the students up and moving and changing the dynamic around. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of space for the teachers to make use of, definitely in those.
As I mentioned, throughout the academic year, Merriswood, which is part of Activate Learning, is one of a group of further education colleges. And again, the students that study here normally, they look after these animals. They study in these classes, and they do all of these sort of BTEC, vocational, and T-level subjects. But for us, we're taking over the campus during the summer. Okay.
Okay. So now, so yeah, I'll lead off from here, Simon. You
Yeah, please do.
chip in. So yeah, this is our flagship course here at Merris Woods. This is what really sort of got us excited about it. Leadership and sustainability. So leadership, something we've tried to incorporate into all our courses across our sites, but we wanted to really put it front and center and team it up with sustainability, which is such at the core of modern business and modern corporations. And it's something that students are really excited about. Whenever we've had sustainability elements to any of our other courses, they've really seized upon that and taken it. And so what we're looking here is to get them tackling global challenges, including climate change, corporate social responsibility, and social impact, and look at real world examples, companies that are already utilizing those. Some of which we've worked with here in Oxford already, and we'll be looking to use their experience. And then they'll be developing leadership skills and putting them into action. So we'll be getting students to take the lead on different days, to plan how they're going to do that, reflect on those things, and really develop those skills within a controlled environment with the support of their teachers, so that they can take that back into what they're doing at home and in the future. We're also going to do what we do with all of our courses here in Oxford, with our business and our science and our art courses, and have a tailored careers session, which shows the students how they can use these skills, build their CV going forward to applying to university, which is what a lot of them are doing in this 15 to 17 age bracket. And we really like to focus on it. So this is for students, obviously, with a higher level of English. We want them to have a B2 minimum on the CEFR scale, but they'll be looking at lots of fantastic ideas. They'll be covering topics like consumerism and fashion, food and water security, cities and transport, climate and energy, and biodiversity and ecosystems. And what we're really blessed with is that students come from around the world, and they're going to bring their different ideas of what leadership might look like, what sustainability is looking like in their country, and then share that with their group. So yeah, a really fantastic course that I'm looking forward to being a part of.
Yeah. May I add a couple of points there, Simon?
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, I think the picture of the two students there carrying a lizard. I don't know what species of lizard it is, but they were from our science course in the summer just gone. So we had a day at Merriswood. It was almost like a trial day, I suppose, where we took our science students to Merriswood for a sort of zookeeper for a day experience, and it's a taster of what's to come for the students. And the feedback was incredible. The tutors there, are really passionate about their subject, and the students really enjoyed getting hands-on. And then the other angle to the leadership, I suppose, is like Simon said, it's about leadership skills, it's about learning about themselves. But given the environment at Merris with this rural location, what I'd like what my vision, I suppose, is for this is to be seen like a, like a bit of a corporate or executive away weekend where they get outdoors and they do team building exercises as well, so they can learn, to gain, gain confidence in being leaders, working as part of a team. And we do have a sample timetable online to have a look at some of the sessions that we'll be running, but we'll be covering some of the hot topics in leadership at the moment, which is, things like emotional intelligence, things like executive presence. What are the things that you need to be, seen as a leader and to be given that sort of, respect, I suppose, amongst your peers. So it is very much about leadership and sustainability as two separate, ideas, but then also leading sustainably, talking about corporate social responsibility. We're lining up visits to companies that have either developed sustainable products, designed and manufactured sustainable products, or who have brought, great ideas, sustainable ideas into their regular business practices. So again, a lot of the stuff will happen on campus, but then we'll also be getting them off campus as well, visiting companies and bringing guest speakers in too.
And yeah, please do fire away with your questions either here or via the email. We love talking about the courses, and please get in touch and ask us about those. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
something I forgot to do at the beginning. Oops. Yeah, please do. If you've got any questions as you go, I am keeping an eye on the Q&A box. So if you have any questions as we go, please do pop them in, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go. Yeah, sorry. Go on then.
So here we're moving on to immersive English. So immersive English is across all of our centres. We offer a version of what we might call a general English course, but we like to focus on the use of English in our courses. In our teen programme here in Oxford, we call it interactive English. And as we said at the start, we're trying to bring over all the fantastic elements of that, but it's not exactly the same course. It's in a slightly different location. So we've changed the title, and there's a few tweaks to it, which I'm going to talk about now. So yeah, immersive English, it's for all ages, all levels of English. So from A2 to C2, it's for 2 or more weeks, whereas our leadership and sustainability course is a 2-week block. Here, students can come for 2 weeks or maybe 4 if they want to. And it's our thematic based English lessons as we do here in Oxford. So these themes here in Merryst Wood are going to be on the theme of sustainability. What we want to do with such a small campus, as we talked about, a close-knit environment, we want to give the students reasons to talk to each other. So the theme of the English lessons is going to be on sustainability, so that they'll be covering similar topics to what they might be doing in leadership and sustainability, not quite in as much detail and for as much time, but they're going to be talking about those things. And it's also part of what Merryst Wood is. Merryst Wood is trying to be a sustainable leader. One of our themes of the week is going to be farm to fork. So at Merryst Wood, they're trying to implement this where they're growing all of the food on site that they're going to feed the students in the canteen. And so we'll be taking the students out to the farm as part of so here in Oxford, that would be our study visit. Here in Merryst Wood, we're calling it maybe our citizen science, where they're going out to meet the farmers who are doing this, talking about the processes, because what we're looking for is things that interest the teenagers, then generates conversation. We want to give them things that they want to talk about. People like to communicate and use language, and that's what helps them improve. And with the same excellent standard of teachers that we use here in Oxford, we'll be looking to do the exact same thing. We're going to bring across our guest speakers again. Down at Merryst Wood. So these again will be connected to the themes, whether it be fast fashion, rewilding our world, or the future of cities. There are going to be practical elements to each course. And then something that will be a little bit different is because all the students will be going on the excursions, we'll be focusing a little bit more on the classroom in the excursion. So we'll be giving the students information and language and things that they can use on the excursions to make the most of them. You've got anything to add there, Simon?
No, I mean, since I asked if anybody had any questions, we've got a couple of questions that have come in, but I'll come back to them in just a moment. But no, I mean, I think the word immersive, speaks to being immersed, in nature and being sort of within this environment, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, like Simon said, the idea really is that we don't have English classes where they open up a textbook to page 17 and they follow a well-defined sort of well-defined sort of flow, I suppose. What we're talking about here is giving the teachers the creativity and the freedom to respond to what they, the students they have in front of them, and putting activities and lessons together that really sort of fit their, meet their needs.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely true. Yeah.
again, when you give teachers lots of freedom, that also comes with a lot of responsibility. So we will have an academic manager there that will be doing observations. We do peer observations as well, where teachers are observing other teachers, so that we can make sure that the standard of what we offer remains high. And yeah.
And the same as we do here in Oxford, one of the things I really drill into our academic managers and our teachers is dynamism. We appreciate that students are here and they want an outcome on the academic side, but it's their summer holidays. And so we want to keep the sort of dynamic changing, being in the classroom, out of the classroom, changing pairs, really mixing it up so that the students are kept on their toes and engaged. We think that's a really important side of our English language lessons. So yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick look at how the timetable will look. So every day they're going to have 3 hours of classes in the morning, 2 hours in the morning with a little break in the middle, then a longer break to go and get a snack, stretch their legs a little bit. Just an hour before lunch, it'll be in this session. They'll have a look at the excursions on a Monday and a Friday. We'll also have the guest speaker on a Wednesday in this middle session. Then they'll have an hour and a half for lunch, and followed by that, we're going to talk about the electives in a second, so I won't dwell on that too much. But yeah, as you can see, Monday and Friday afternoons are half-day excursions to more local sites. Again, we're going to talk about those in a moment. And then they have the chance to be involved in activities in the evening. So yeah, lots going on, lots to do, keep them busy. It's going to be an exciting program.
Yeah. And somebody has asked the question about whether students are able to go off on their own into town. We given that we've got Monday afternoon, Friday afternoon, and weekend excursions, they are getting off site, quite a lot. And then we are planning to take them into Guildford on Wednesday evening for an activity each week as well. But we will be offering the opportunity for students to sign up to go into Guildford, in small groups together. Given its location, we'd rather they didn't sort of wander off, from Merrieswood into Guildford Town Centre, on their own. But we will, they will certainly have the opportunity to go into Guildford, more than just on the first Monday and on that Wednesday evening. Thanks for the question. A couple of other questions, if I may, Simon. Somebody asked me, sustainability, would you have a sample timetable? Yes, there is a sample timetable on our website. Participants of this webinar, we're happy to send out a link to the recording, and also links to those timetables, which shows the sessions. Somebody else has asked, Evelina, thank you for the question. Is it possible to have horse riding lessons? There is an equestrian centre there. There are stables. We haven't offered horse riding as one of the electives, one of the options, because there's quite a lot of restrictions over how the horse riding lessons might work. Something we're happy to talk to you about on a case-by-case basis. But there's quite limited times when horse riding is available, and they have very strict rules in terms of any participants doing horse riding lessons need to bring a fitted helmet that is bespoke to them, so they have to pack a helmet. So I think horse riding lessons may well be possible, but it would be for somebody who is a horse rider already, who has those sort of fitted and molded helmets. Absolutely, yeah. All right, sorry, Simon, let's carry on.
Okay, so on to electives here. Do you want to start off here, Simon?
Sure, yeah. So what we're on the sort of interactive English program in Oxford, the afternoon session is often study visits or working on projects. But here at Merrieswood, we're offering electives, so students can choose on the immersive English program. This is not for leadership and sustainability. This is for the immersive English program. Students can choose from one of 4 electives. So one of the options will be football coaching, which will be taught by a local FA qualified football coach. Some people might imagine that that's for boys, but we'll be offering coaching for male and female players. And we'll also be offering visual arts, which will be taught by an art teacher, where students will be sort of going out onto the campus and getting inspiration from the great outdoors, whether that's looking at the landscapes, painting animals, that sort of thing. But the idea is that we'll have an art teacher coming in and help them develop their skills. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like a formal art lesson necessarily, but it's an opportunity for the students to develop their skills and take advantage of the environment. At Merist. We'll be offering bushcraft as well, which is where we'll get a local bushcraft, what are they called? Coach, guide? I don't know. Instructor, thank you. Sorry, my mind just went blank then. A bushcraft instructor to come onto the campus and teach the students about survival skills. So, how they might survive without technology in the great outdoors. And I think the idea here is this is about leadership and resilience and teaching students to rely on themselves rather than technology. I don't know if you're going to add something there, Simon.
It was just like something we've talked about is that disconnect. I mean, I think one of the things we get, one of the inquiries is about our phone policy, and then we're just giving students the chance to put their phone down and really engage with each other and the environment around them, whether that be from the flora and fauna, inspiring the visual arts, getting involved in the football, or building a shelter, or learning to cook outdoors with the bushcraft, and then onto the animal care and conservation, which is like having a sort of a pet with you maybe for 3 days of the week, that emotional support.
But yeah, the animal care and conservation, or I think it's animal health and conservation option, is where the students will be getting, hands-on with the animals, learning about, animal health. So getting into the biomes, handling the animals, doing the sort of zookeeper for a day sort of style activity. But then it's also about conservation. So, zoos aren't just for, a place to keep animals, safe and for allow sort of people to, observe them. Zoology is also about protecting natural habitat and learning about how to, reduce the number of animals that are going extinct every year. So it's a combination of, animal health and also conservation too. So
Well, I think the zoo here at Merris Wood takes a lot of animals from Heathrow, doesn't it, Simon?
That's it, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
so it's about enrichment is a lot of keeping these animals with a really exciting life. And yeah, I think Simon mentioned it earlier on our science course, we brought the students down. You can see in the picture here. And when I spoke to them at the end of the science course last year, they said it was their best day of the course. So expanding this into 3 half days should be really exciting for those students. Getting involved with the armadillos, the meerkats, the monkeys, the tortoises, something for everyone, definitely. Okay.
Yeah, great.
So now we'll move on to another new course that we're adding on. So this is our Project Eco Innovation. So this is a bolt-on. This is not a standalone course. So this is designed for students who are coming to study one of our other courses, whether that be leadership and sustainability at Merist, or science and experiments in Oxford, business and entrepreneurship, art and digital design. It's an interdisciplinary course where we want to bring all of these people together here in Oxford. So if any of the students at Merist would sign up to this course, we're going to arrange a transfer for them to Oxford, and they're going to get to spend a week in Oxford as well, which is a really exciting proposition to go across the 2 campuses. So yeah, this is where sustainability meets creativity. We're going to combine environmental awareness with creative thinking and entrepreneurial skills to tackle real world challenges. We're going to ask students to come together from the different courses, with the art students working on the marketing, the business students on the business plan, the science students getting into the theory of what's going on, and then they're going to work together as a group and pitch a product that they feel is going to solve a real world issue. We want it to be tangible and them to be thinking about the real world, not hypothetical. So they're going to research, design, and present innovative, cost-effective eco solutions. They're going to look at project management skills. They're going to be planning their week at the start, having check-ins, and having feedback throughout this from their teacher. And those entrepreneurial skills we think are really important across all of the courses and all of the disciplines. So it'll be really good to get them spreading those out. So yeah, in one of the pictures here, you'll see a student. This is where we came to this course, Rand. So Rand, I think, was with us for the last 4 summers here at our teen site in Oxford. She's done every course that we have here. And each year she said she wanted to stay for longer and she wanted to be on a course with all the different people from all the different courses. And so this was a little bit how this was inspired. We have how many students returning, was it this year, Simon?
So in summer 2025, we had 65 students returning from the previous summer, which is, a great statistic given our size. And yeah, so yeah, sorry, Karen, Simon, I'm interrupting.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where you were going to go with that. It's really fantastic. And what we want to do is provide sort of a differential element for those students. We love the fact that they love coming back here to Oxford, whether that be in our junior campus and then perhaps progressing to our teen campus. We had a number of students do that the last couple of years, or just coming back to our teen campus. One student, I think, traveled from Argentina again after traveling last summer. She came back and did our business course. She was on our English course this year. And we hope she might think about coming back and doing another course. And then if you're coming that far, you might as well stay for 3 weeks and add on the Project Eco Innovation, which is going to be really fantastic. They're going to be doing some really different things, meeting people from the different courses. We don't want them working in silos, as to quote Simon, he often says that we want to get the courses mixing together, meeting people from the different environments, which is really how a real world business works. When you're going into the world of business, you're not working with just science people or just art. You're working the marketing department, the sales department, in a school, the academic department. We want to recreate how this will look and just give our fantastic students. We're really lucky to have some amazing students come through who have fantastic ideas, and we just want to give them the space to flourish, as it says in that picture down there. So yeah.
Right.
Anything to add there, Simon?
No, you've absolutely, yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, fantastic. So on to the activities program.
Yeah, so sort of going back to Merist, I suppose. Yeah, so the students are in classes in the mornings, then they have the electives in the afternoon between 2 and 4. Monday and Friday they're on excursions, but then after the electives until dinner time, and then in the evening there'll be a really busy activities program at Merist. So a range of sports, range of arts and crafts, taking advantage of that woody social space that we mentioned. But again, with the activities program, which is the same what we do in Oxford, the same as we do in Oxford, is we want to be student led as well. So if students came to us with ideas of what they wanted our activities program to offer, then we'll be taking that on board as well. But the idea with Meristwood is, yes, it's in a rural location. Yes, it's not on the doorstep of a big city like Oxford, but there'll be lots of things going on for the students to enjoy. And I think the freedom that we give the students in Oxford to just sort of hang out, to spend their time with each other. There's nothing more satisfying walking through the garden of the dining room, the dining hall at St. Clair's, and you see, students sitting at tables, sort of just socializing and chatting, in English. We're hoping to replicate that at Merist as well with these shared spaces and with our activities program. So there is certainly a lot to do. The excursion program at Meristwood, I think, is almost finalized, but different to the Oxford Teenager Programme, all of the excursions will be included per week, including entrance fees. So no sign-ups are required, no extra fees. That it's all included in the program price. Because of the location of Meristwood is sort of slightly more it's southwest London, but more southeast with Oxford. Yeah, we will be going into London. It's on the doorstep. It's what most students want, but we'll still be replicating excursions to Windsor Castle, but we're much closer to the seaside, so we'll be taking the students to Portsmouth. We'll be going to Canterbury and Leeds Castle. This isn't Leeds Castle in Leeds up north. Leeds Castle is located just outside Canterbury, and we will be taking the students on a full day excursion to Oxford as well. So that's really important to know. Thanks, Simon.
Okay, so yeah, back to Oxford here, and to our junior campus. So one of our new additions to our junior campus is a STEM course. So similarly to how we were talking about the electives there at Merrist Wood, we have electives for our juniors, so they can again sign up for football coaching, tennis coaching, performing arts, which we've run really successfully for the last couple of years. And what we're adding this year is a STEM course. So for those that don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths. This was for, we always have a lot of inquiries from us, from parents and agents asking about STEM course, and we've had a lot of push from our management group. So we've had the same management team there at Rye for the last 3 years, and so they were really insistent that they thought this would be a really good option for the students. Similarly to our English course, this will be separated into two subdivisions. So we'll have 9 to 12-year-olds together and then 13 to 15-year-olds. We recognise that they have slightly different needs within the classroom. We also have a slightly smaller class size for the 9 to 12-year-olds, just to give them that more individual attention at that younger age group. So they're going to touch upon all of the areas. There's going to be coding workshops. They're going to be doing some engineering, technology, maths workshops, challenges. We're going to make it really hands-on. We don't want it to be theoretical. We want it to be hands-on with them getting involved, making things move and work. There's going to be workshops, maybe taking them down to, well, not maybe, we are going to take them down to the Botanic Gardens here in Oxford, which is the oldest botanic gardens in the UK, and they do some fantastic sessions there. And also down to the museums here in Oxford, the Science Museum, the History of Science Museum, which contains a chalkboard that Einstein wrote on, the Natural History Museum, where Darwin had a debate about the theory of evolution. So it's a really inspirational place for students. But what we want to do is, yeah, get them, encourage those inquisitive minds and foster an environment where they're really making the most of the fantastic opportunities that we're going to give them. Yeah, Simon.
No, not much more to add. I mean, I think mentioning the fact that we're bringing the students up to 139, the main sort of St. Clair's IB school during the summer for the science sessions, is a great feature as well. And again, we've talked about the number of returning students. We've had students who have transitioned from having done multiple years on the junior program, moving on to the teenager program as they go through. One particular student this year, he was on business, but what we're hoping for is to give students a bit of a preview of what a science course might look like on the teenager program. So, what we want really is to be able to offer students at all stages of their sort of academic journey, offer them something, and we can help them, year on year, improve their skills. One sort of, I think, important point to mention is that for those familiar with the juniors program, we offer other electives: football, tennis, and performing arts. They're all available, 1 week at a time. So you could come for a 2 week course and do football as your elective twice, or you could do 1 week of football, 1 week of tennis. Whereas the STEM program is, a 2 week elective program. So, students can't do it for 1 week and then do something else for another week. If a student had booked for 3 weeks, they could do 2 weeks of active English plus STEM, and then 1 week of doing another elective, again, whether that's football, tennis, or performing arts. So it's a really, it's responding to enormous demand for STEM during summer schools. But the idea is that we'll have students, integrated in the active English courses with everybody else, and then in the afternoon the STEM students will go off and do their STEM program for the 2 weeks. So we're really looking forward to launching that this year.
And it's also really played to our strengths. We're very lucky to have science teachers here year round that we're in regular contact with and run our courses. And they'll be leading some of the sessions when we bring the students down here. And they've been giving us a lot of advice and pointers about which way to go on this. So yeah, now we're going to move to the other end of the age spectrum with the adults.
Yeah. So do you want to take this, Simon, or shall I?
Yeah, you go for it, Simon.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's more of a reminder. So last year we had a bit of an overhaul of the adult summer program, and this was in response to feedback that we had from the students on the adult program, and also, our partner agents the people in this on this call. What we wanted to do was to be able to allow students to kind of specialize into the English that they really need for their current or future careers, but also retain a sort of, a great sort of community feel down at the adult program. So the way that we've organized it last year, and the feedback was really good, is that the students will all do English for Life together in the morning, and then in the afternoon they'll go into their different, different specialisms. So so all students will do English for Life together in the morning, and then they'll either choose between English for Life Plus, which is basically more English for Life courses in the afternoons, or they'll go to English for Law or English for Business. And just to reiterate, these courses are not business or law. It's the English for law, so it's legal English and business English in those afternoon sessions, and then they can also specialize in exam preparation, so English for exams. So those are the afternoon electives. You can also choose to do no elective, if you want to take a bit more advantage of what's going on in Oxford, or you want to sort of have a slightly easier pace of things, I suppose, in Oxford. If you don't want to do an afternoon elective, you don't have to. It also, might be useful for students who are on a slightly, lower budget. And a couple of kind of features of these courses that I think is important to mention is that English for Law and English for Business, maximum class size in those elective sessions is 6, which means that the students get a lot of individual attention to help address whatever needs, particular specific needs they might have. And then English for exams, again, a common question is, what is that, IELTS? Is that the Cambridge exams? Well, we're happy to help students, prepare for whatever exam it is that they need to prepare for. It's about preparation, practice, academic skills. So we take the students, when they arrive, and find out exactly what it is that they need, and then the teachers will put something together to make sure that those needs are met. And again, the International College, which is where the adult program is delivered, is the adults are not taught with or near the teenagers. They're in a separate building. They have separate accommodation. The only time the teenagers and the adult program students overlap is maybe at meal times. But adults do come to St. Clair's, and they're not sort of wrapped up in a teenager style program. And a common question is, well, how old are these adults that come on the program? I mean, to be fair, I think most students are between sort of 18 and 25. But that's not to say that we don't have students who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or even 70s as well. We have a wide range of profile that come on the International College, and I think all students, regardless of their age, background, English level, or academic interests, form a lovely community during the summer where they get involved in our social activity program, and also socialize, just with themselves by, they're right on the doorstep of Oxford. There's so many things happening in Oxford during the summer, so the adult students, really do kind of get into life in Oxford when they're with us.
That's probably worth sort of me jumping in here and saying we offer the same sort of we take students out from the English for Life course on the study visits again with their teacher out of the classroom. We appreciate that dynamism and changing the sort of environment for the students, both on the adults and the teen program, is really important, because we want to give them things to interact with each other about, to talk about. Students can spend their whole academic year in a classroom in their home country speaking to somebody next to them who speaks the same first language as them in English. But here we've got the advantage that we've got loads of things to really engage with English in an authentic environment, and we make the most of that. We also made another change in that we introduced a guest speaker solely for the adults this summer. So in the past, the adults would come up to our main campus here and join the guest speaker. But this year we brought guest speakers in at our International College just for the adults, and we got fantastic feedback from that. I remember sitting down at lunch with some of the students over the summer and them saying it was so fantastic, one, the talk in itself, but then having the chance to ask questions and really engage in debate after that. Some really positive changes that were implemented last summer, and we're hoping to, really build on them again this summer coming. Okay, so there we go, short courses.
Brilliant. All right, thanks. So we've been doing this now for a couple of years, but it's always worth kind of, reminding, reminding you guys, webinars. So what we offer isn't just courses during the summer. During the year, we're an IB World boarding school and we're an international college that offers the foundation program. However, during the summer, during the academic year, sorry, we are also able to welcome groups, pre-formed groups from high schools or groups that you might form yourselves, as agencies, and can offer, one of three options. So one program is English and culture, where we could put together a 2, 3, or even 4 week program where the students will study English. We'll take them on study visits to places in and around Oxford. We take care of all the excursions, and they can be accommodated in our student residences, in our boarding houses. We also offer English and IB immersion. So this is the sort of high school experience. We normally suggest that students do this for a minimum of 2 weeks, but typically the groups that do immersion are with us for 4 weeks. But this is a combination of 1 week of sort of English and leadership, in the week prior to the immersion, and then they get, then they immerse into the IB World School. So for those, we ask the age range to be between 14 and 17. For IB immersion, we do require the students to have, a good level of English so they can follow what's going on in the classes. And maximum group size really for IB immersion is 20. Given the size of the IB World School and as not wanting to sort of, interrupt the classes too much, we are quite sort of careful with the number of students that we have immersing at any one time. And then the third option is a closed bespoke group. So a good example of that is last year we welcomed a school from China who wanted a STEM program for 1 week. So we put together a program with our science teachers that that delivered on the course that they wanted, and so the students were in Oxford with us, getting involved in these STEM courses and enjoying some of the things that Simon mentioned, Botanic Gardens and going to the Natural History Museum. So short courses during the academic year is something that we're able to offer, and so if you wanted more information about this or want to discuss dates and how those programs work, then do get in touch with us. We're very happy to have those conversations.
And I think it's just really important to mention we talked about returning students in the summer, Simon, and that all of the groups that have come and done our short courses with us have returned for a second and third occasion. And it's a really fun part of doing of my job for me, working with the agents or the schools, planning these courses and making them tailored as much as possible to the students' needs. And it's really enjoyable for us. So yeah, it's fantastic. Thanks, guys. So now on to the rest of the team.
Yeah. So we wanted to just take this opportunity as well while you're all here to maybe put some faces to the names that you might have had dealings with. So you've obviously, listened to me and Simon talking for the last hour, but just to remind you, Mark Hewitt is our operations manager. Claudia Sazaraccio is our short courses administrator. Andy takes care of our groups and short courses. Jordan has been our welfare manager for the last 3 years on our teenager summer program, and now he's joined our team as an operations officer. And then the most recent addition is the wonderful Ruth Cooper, who is supporting with the admissions. So you may well have dealings with any or all of these people, and from the summer and short courses team to you, we look forward to working with you, carrying on working with you, or working with you for the first time. And do get in touch with us if you have any questions about anything that we do. So I have addressed some questions in as we've gone, or I've written replies, but we are coming to the end of the webinar. If anybody has any questions, then please do feel free to let us know. All right, hold on a minute. We have a question from, I've not done this before. Hold on, from Evelina. Okay, Evelina, I'm going to unmute your mic. Please ask your question. All right, there's a few other questions here. Oh, hi, Nur. Nur just said thank you. Really love to see you on the call here, Nur. Thank you for that. And then Ulrika has asked, whom can we contact for marketing material? It's a great question. The participants of this webinar, we can send you a link to all of our marketing materials afterwards. Thank you for the question. I'm not sure whether Evelina has asked this question. by mistake. Evelyn, if you have a question, do you want to pop it in the Q&A box and I can answer it live during the call? But yeah, if you have any further questions, then please ask it now or contact us after the webinar. And yeah, we look forward to carrying on working with you guys. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time today, guys. We can't forget to show this.
Oh yes, two of the residents of Merris Wood that that the students are hopefully going to meet.
But yeah, thank you so much for attending this morning, guys. And yeah, we're looking forward to welcoming your students in some fantastic courses.
Yeah. Thanks, Jana, for your comment. Thank you for the informative session. Yeah, we hope it was helpful. But again, if any of you are still on the call, if you need us to do, another webinar or some training with, further training with you about what we offer, please do let us know. We're very happy to jump on a call and run through, everything that St. Clair's has to offer. Very happy to help. Enjoy the rest of your day, days, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today.